opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Pain Free Today with your host, Denis Thompson. Brought to you by Worldwide Advanced Medical Technologies, LLC. Call 954-256-0045 or online at painmanagementnetwork.com. Here you will learn how to eliminate your pain. You will learn about a revolutionary new therapy called the ARP Wave System, which treats the neurological origin of pain, not the symptoms. You will learn how to increase your range of motion and how you can move freely without pain at any age. You will learn how you can try one free treatment from one of our local providers. Denis Thompson has 25 years' experience working with top athletes and non-athletes of all types. He has treated thousands of patients with better than a 95% success rate. His list of athlete clients reads like a who's who of the sports world. Listen and find out how the ARP Wave System can benefit you. And now, here's your host, Denis Thompson.
Good morning and welcome to Pain Free Today. I'm Denis Thompson, your host, and what we'd like to do today is answer a lot of your questions. We've been getting a tremendous number of questions pertaining to what is neurotherapy. We get these questions from patients such as yourselves or practitioners who are listening to the show. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of answer most of those questions here on the air and kind of give you an idea of what neurotherapy is all about. First off, neurotherapy is not a new therapy, but it is a relatively misunderstood therapy. Neurotherapy is based around a very simple premise, and that is that wherever you have pain, wherever an MRI shows you have a problem, wherever an X-ray shows you have a problem, wherever any type of diagnostic testing, whether it be ultrasound or any type of examination shows you that you have a problem, that is where the problem ended. It is not where the problem is coming from. Now, many people get confused by that, so I'd like to kind of just, unwrap that confusion, if you would. First off, everything in your system is controlled by your nervous system. So think of your nervous system as the software that drives all of your functions, whether it be your blood supply, whether it be your muscles, whether it be your thought patterns, anything is controlled initially throughout your nervous system. Think of your nervous system as just that, software that controls everything. Now, let's look at how we address any type of symptom of pain, restricted range of motion, injury. We address it primarily on the hardware side, meaning that if you have a knee problem, you're going to be doing treatment on your knee. If you have an elbow problem, you're going to be doing treatment on your elbow, and so on and so forth. If you have chronic pain, you're going to be masking those symptoms, but you're not actually working on what caused those symptoms. So in our traditional therapeutic mechanism, we work on where the problem ended. All of our tests are showing us where the problem ended, but there is no test and there is no therapy that specifically works on the software that could be the culprit for your physiological symptoms. So let me ask you this. Many of you listening to this show today think of neurotherapy or the ARP Wave System as something for the baby boomers and anyone over the age of 45, 50 years old. Nothing could be further from the truth. This system has no age limits. It can be used with a 5-year-old as effectively as it can be used with a 95-year-old. And the reason for that is because every situation, every symptom has a neurological origin. And it does not make any difference what your age is. So if you are experiencing any type of pain whatsoever, if you're experiencing restriction in motion, in other words, if you have a hard time walking the way you did when you were much younger, if you have pain when you're walking, if you can't run, if you can't do the things that you would like to do, and you've just kind of given up, you've kind of thought about it, and the doctor has told you, well, you know, if it hurts, don't do it. So if you've restricted your lifestyle, this program can be extraordinarily beneficial for you. Because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can have an active lifestyle without pain at any age, provided you go through the ARP Wave System neurotherapy. And the reason I use that as a caveat is because you probably tried everything else. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been to the position you're in now, which is there's nothing else I can do. Trust me, there is something else you can do. And that something else that you can do is simply see if neurotherapy can help you. And we've made it brutally easy to do that. So if you're a patient, if you're an individual listening to this right now, no matter what your age is, and you have pain, you have restricted range of motion, you've been in an injury, an accident, you have had surgery that failed, you've been told you need surgery, listen very, very carefully, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guideline of how you can find out if this therapy can help you. And the good news is, it will not cost you 1 red cent. Not 1 red cent. You at all. And here's how it works. Every one of you listening today have a doctor. When this program is over, I'd like you to call your doctor, call your doctor's office, and ask them if you can be treated with the ARP Wave System neurotherapy in their office. And the way it would work is this. If you're in the area, we will have one of our representatives go to your doctor's office, set up an appointment with you, come in, and literally take you through 1 free neurotherapy treatment. And at the end of that 15 to 20-minute treatment, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt if neurotherapy can help you or not. Not only will you know, but your doctor will know. And now, all I ask of you is that if we demonstrate that this therapy can help you, that you simply ask your doctor to begin offering this service. And doc, after you've seen it and you've heard your patient, there should be no reason for you not to become one of our providers, because you already have thousands and thousands of patients that could benefit from this therapy. That's all there is to it. Now, if your doctor says no, I'm not interested in doing that, I don't know anything about it, whatever. If they say no, then please give us a call locally here at 954-256-0045. and we will put you in touch with one of our providers who have already signed up, become a provider, have already been trained in our system, and we will give you that one free session. At the end of that session, we'll ask you to make a decision. Did it make a change or didn't it? Now, I can tell you that we have treated over 75,000 patients all over the world, and many of the most elite athletes in the world. So I already know that 95% of the time we're going to make a significant change in your symptoms. And we're going to make a significant change in your quality of life. I know that, but you don't. And that's why I'm offering this opportunity for you at no cost and no obligation to see if this therapy can help you. So what is this therapy? What is neurotherapy? Well, neurotherapy is a therapy that addresses the neurological origin, the beginning of the signal that is causing you the pain. As an example, if you have pain in your knee and everyone treats your knee, you're still probably going to have pain in your knee because your knee is not the problem. Your knee is where the problem ended up, but your knee is not where the signal is coming from that's causing the pain. So the very first thing that we do in neurotherapy is we identify, is your nervous system sending the right electrical signal to your body to where your muscles will act as shock absorbers, keeping the shock or the force out of the area that's bothering you. So neurotherapy is a three-part system. The first part is identifying, is your electrical system, your nervous system, doing what it's supposed to do? If it is not, then the first step in our system is to get it to do what it's supposed to do, which is sending a signal directly to the muscles above the joint line or below the joint line, wherever you have pain, to transfer the force out of the tissue that you're experiencing the force in and moving it to tissue that is supposed to be doing the job of absorbing that force. Keep in mind, if you have knee pain, elbow pain, wrist pain, shoulder pain, back pain, foot pain, any pain anywhere near or around a joint, that is a clear indication that the muscles surrounding that joint are not doing their job. And their job is to keep that force out of the joint. And if those muscles are not getting the proper electrical signal to do that, then under no conditions are you not going to have a joint problem. Because joints are not designed to absorb force. Muscles are. And muscles are driven by the nervous system. So if the nervous system is not sending the appropriate signal to the muscle cannot do its job. And that is to act as a shock absorber. So if the muscle cannot act as a shock absorber, all the shock is going to go to your joint. And you're going to have a joint problem. You're going to have joint pain. You're going to have restricted range of motion in that joint. And everyone is going to work on your joint, except neurotherapy. Listen carefully to how you can try it.
Individuals who have been unsuccessful in eliminating their pain are invited to obtain a free ARP Wave System treatment. Register now on our website at painmanagementnetwork.com to arrange a free ARP Wave System treatment from one of the doctors in our ARP Wave South Florida provider network. You can also call 954-256-0045 in order to schedule your free evaluation and first treatment. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 or visit our website www.painmanagementnetwork.com and register to begin a new life pain-free. The ARP Wave Provider Network is also currently looking for doctors to join our network. We have an increasing number of patients who are looking for doctors to perform treatments using the ARP Wave System to help them eliminate pain they are experiencing. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 to have a representative come out and see you, or visit our website, www.painmanagementnetwork.com, and register for an appointment with one of our representatives. Once you are in our network, we can start referring you patients located in your area looking for doctors performing ARP Wave System treatments.
Welcome back to Pain Free Today. I'm your host, Denis Thompson, and we were just discussing what the ARP Wave neurotherapy system is. Excuse me. And you just heard a call to action for doctors. So if you are a medical doctor, if you're a doctor of any discipline whatsoever, and you are addressing and dealing with patients in pain, which means every single day of the week, you are seeing patients in pain. What we are offering you is an opportunity to look at and to determine on your own the merits of a new therapy. This new therapy is neurotherapy, and it's really not new. It's just new to you. We've been doing this for 15 years as a provider, and now, because of Obamacare and a variety of other economic conditions, we've decided to move out of being a provider of the services, these neurotherapy treatments, to setting up the nation's largest network of medical professionals offering these services. We know they work. We treated over 75,000 patients. Every single one of those patients came to us from over the internet, from other doctors, et cetera, et cetera. And we've treated them all over the world. We've treated the most elite athletes in the world with tremendous success. So now we are reaching out to medical professionals. So if you are a doctor listening to this, if you're a surgeon listening to this, we have patients for you. We have patients who want to try to see if the ARP Wave System neurotherapy can help them. And since we're not doing those services anymore, we have those patients for you. You just heard in the earlier part of the show a call to action for patients. Imagine how many patients there are right now listening to this show who are in pain. Imagine how many new patients you, the doctor, could get if you offered a new service to what you're presently doing. This is an add-on to your practice. It is not a subtraction. We do not want you to stop doing anything you're doing because what you're doing obviously is very successful. This is an addition to what you're doing. This is not a subtraction to what you're doing. And doctor, we don't want you to be the administrator of this service. We will train a staff member of yours, and we will oversee that staff member with one of our staff to make sure that they, not you, are administering this amazing new therapy. Why is this therapy so different? Why is it so different from what you're doing? Well, what you're doing right now primarily addresses the physiological symptoms of all of the problems and all of the conditions which you're presently seeing. If you're a surgeon, you're doing surgery on where the problem ended. You're not doing surgery on where the problem came from. You're doing surgery on where it ended. You're fixing the problem. If you're a general practitioner, you're treating where the problem ended. If you're a physical therapist, you're treating the physical side of the equation. You are not treating the neurological side of the equation. That's why this is such a tremendous addition to every medical practitioner's practice, and why it doesn't interfere with anything you're presently doing. If you're an anesthesiologist and you're administering pain medication, if you are a doctor administering pain medication, you now have another vehicle, another mechanism to try and help this ever-growing need of patients with chronic pain. And trust me, there's millions and millions of patients every year diagnosed with chronic pain. And their only choice of having any quality of life usually revolves around pharmacopoeia and usually revolves around some form of narcotic. I'm here to tell you, right now, there could be, I'm not going to be so facetious as to say this is the only answer. I'm just saying this is another therapy that you, the doctor, can offer in your practice to generate better patient outcomes and greater quality of life for your patients. Now, for the doctors listening and for the patients listening, that sounds way too good to be true. How in the world can this guy say that we're not doing this? Well, it's real simple. Every doctor I've ever talked to, every surgeon I've ever talked to, and I've worked with the leading surgeons in the world and the leading doctors in the world. And when it gets right down to it, what we learn in medical school is how to address and fix and repair where the problem ended. We do not learn the neurological impact of soft tissue injuries, nor do we learn the neurological impact of chronic pain. So, if we're not learning it in school, then how would we be able to administer it? We wouldn't. So, here is what neurotherapy can do for you, the patient, and you, the doctor. You, the patient, are the most important ingredient in this entire process. If you have pain, if you have restricted range of motion, if your quality of life is not what you want it to be, then I urge you to find out if neurotherapy can help you. The way to do that is simply contact your doctor, as we said earlier, and ask if you could be treated with neurotherapy in their office. If we have a representative local, we'll have the representative come out, bring in everything needed for your treatment, and we will treat you in front of the doctor at no cost or obligation to either of you. The only thing I ask of you is that if we treat you and we show you that there is a change in your ability to move freely without pain, that you tell your doctor that you'd like to be treated with neurotherapy. And if you're the doctor and have seen that and have heard from the patient, then we expect you to become one of our providers. It's just a simple process. The only way either of you are ever going to know if this therapy is going to work for you is to try it. There is no other way. You could have thousands and thousands of studies, and all of them would say that this would be a therapy that is going to be extremely effective for you. And it still doesn't work for you. There's only one way you're ever going to know if this therapy can work for you, and that's to try it. And that means you, the doctor, or you, the patient. It's the same question. Does it work, and can it work for me? And the only way you're ever going to know the answer to those questions is to try it. And again, we've treated over 75,000 patients worldwide with better than a 95% success rate with this therapy, in addition to other therapies such as physical therapy, such as occupational therapy, such as psychological therapy, any type of therapy, reflexology, chiropractic care, osteopathic care. It is a tremendous complement to every type of discipline and practice because it adds a completely different side of the equation. It adds the neurological side to the equation, not just the physiological side. So again, we're so convinced that we can help you that we will demonstrate to you, the doctor, or you, the patient, at no cost and no obligation, our system. We know it works. We know it's going to work. The trouble is, you don't. So if you're a doctor sitting there listening to this right now, or you're a patient listening to this right now, let's be honest with each other. There's only one way to know if this therapy is going to work for you, the patient, or work for you, the doctor. If there's no risk and there's no way this therapy can hurt you, then why in the world wouldn't you try it? To me, there is no reason not to try it. So if you're a doctor listening to this, please give us a call at 954-256-0045. Or if you'd like to contact us via email, contact us at painmanagementnetwork.com. And we'll set up a time that's convenient for you, for us to demonstrate neurotherapy to you. If you're a patient, listen carefully to how you can get your free treatment.
Individuals who have been unsuccessful in eliminating their pain are invited to obtain a free ARP Wave System treatment. Register now on our website at painmanagementnetwork.com to arrange a free ARP Wave System treatment from one of the doctors in our ARP Wave South Florida provider network. You can also call 954-256-0045 in order to schedule your free evaluation and first treatment. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 or visit our website, www.painmanagementnetwork.com, and register to begin a new life pain-free. The ARP Wave Provider Network is also currently looking for doctors to join our network. We have an increasing number of patients who are looking for doctors to perform treatments using the ARP Wave System to help them eliminate pain they are experiencing. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 to have a representative come out and see you, or visit our website, www.painmanagementnetwork.com, and register for an appointment with one of our representatives. Once you are in our network, we can start referring you patients located in your area looking for doctors performing ARP Wave System treatments.
Welcome back to Pain Free Today. I'm your host, Denis Thompson. And now what I'd like to do at this point in time is talk a little bit about some case studies that we've had just this week to give you an idea of how the ARP Wave System neurotherapy works. Because I think by listening to how we address certain conditions with this therapy, it will be helpful to understand for you how it might be able to help you. So I'm going to give you a case in this segment of an athletic case, a very interesting athletic case that we had beginning last Monday. This athlete came to us, professional football player, has been unable to compete for over a year, and had a navicular fracture, which means that he had a foot fracture. And what happened is that all of the therapy that he had been given over the last year was addressing the foot, was addressing the lack of blood in the foot. The foot would not heal. At some point, he couldn't even walk without severe pain, and he certainly could not run or do anything athletic whatsoever. And again, keep in mind, this is a professional football player. So he was referred directly to us, to one of our clinics, and this is the process that this young man went through. And this is the process that every single one of you listening to this program will go through. This is the process that every single doctor that's listening to this program will go through in their practice. The first thing that happens is the athlete came into the clinic, and we did a complete workup and a complete history of what is going on. And some of the key questions we ask is, what movement bothers you the most? And obviously that was walking and running. And what level of pain do you have when you do that? The answer in this case was anywhere from 8 to 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. Just so you know, 1 would be very little, 10 would be extremely high. And so we began the process. And the first thing that we do in neurotherapy is we explain to the patient that until they walked in the door today, everyone has been addressing their issue as far as where it ended up. So we went over the MRI, we went over the X-ray, we went over the ultrasound with the athlete, and our doctor explained that that's where the problem ended, not where it's coming from. So now let's go find out where it's coming from, because until then, we're not going to be able to solve the problem. So the first thing that we had to do is identify, was this individual neurologically sending the right signal to the muscles to allow the muscles to act as shock absorbers? This may come as a total shock to everybody listening to this show right now, but if you work in a business, or if you are an athlete, and we came into your business or we came into your athletic team and we gave you this initial test, over 85% of you would fail, which means that 85% of you your nervous system isn't sending the right signal to your muscles to act as shock absorbers. So sooner or later, that shock is going to overwhelm some part of your body, and you're going to have a problem. Just that simple. So the very first thing that we did is our technique, which we call neurological imbalance, and we tested the muscles. For the practitioners out there, muscles are the outward expression of the nervous system. We consider this to be similar to an external EMG. So the first thing we did is tested the athlete, and the athlete failed miserably, this test. Since he failed the test, we then had to basically reset his nervous system. And the way we reset his nervous system is a technique that we created, which is part of neurotherapy, to readjust and reset the nervous system to send the right signal to the muscles to transfer the force out of the damaged tissue in this area, his foot, and transfer it into the muscles where it's supposed to go, which in this area is his calves and his hamstrings. So once that force has been transferred from the spot where it's ending up to a spot it should have been going to, the individual is going to see a tremendous change. So the first step is we had to identify, was the nervous system sending the right signal to the muscles to allow them to do what they were supposed to do, and in this case, they were not. And in about 95% of the time, that is the case. We then had to reset the nervous system. That is something that your practitioner will be taught how to do. If you're a practitioner, this is something we will teach your staff to do. And the second we get that nervous system firing again, we then do a retest to determine if they are now able to absorb force or not. And in this case, they were. So step one was done. Now we go to step two. And step two is identifying exactly where the signal is coming from that is causing the pain in the foot and causing the inability of the athlete to move efficiently without pain. So in step two, we use our proprietary technology, which we will supply you, the provider, and a technique that we call cellular disruption location. And what we're looking for is a breakdown in cellular communication. So we're going to scan the body with an electrode, and as we're scanning the body with this electrode, we're going to find out very, very quickly where the signal is coming from that's causing the symptoms in the foot. And we start at the foot because this case, the specific case we're talking about, was classified as a navicular fracture. So what we're doing now is we're starting at wherever the problem is. So if you have knee pain, we're going to start on your knee. If you have elbow pain, we're going to start on your elbow. If you have back pain, we're going to start on your back. Keep in mind, wherever we start that probe is where you feel the problem. It is not at all where we're going to end up. So as we scan the body, we're looking for areas of sensitivity. So we're not looking for pain, we're looking for areas of sensitivity. And when the sensitivity goes up, then we know we're very close to that electrical short. So think of it kind of like an electrician looking for an electrical short. So as we start moving this electrode around, we are definitely going to find a spot that is higher in sensation than the spot we started with. And we're going to consistently keep searching until we find the spot in your body that has the greatest degree of sensation. That is the point of origin. So providers, this is the most effective diagnostic tool you have ever seen in your life. It is now going to give you the opportunity to know exactly where the neurological origin of the physiological symptoms is. For you, the patient, the reason this is important is because unless you work on what caused the problem, you are never going to solve the problem. That's why your problem keeps coming back and forth, back and forth. Well, it feels better today, tomorrow it hurts. It feels better today. You know, I've been without pain now for about a year, but then all of a sudden I can expect it to come back. If you get rid of the origin, it doesn't come back unless you create another origin. So in this case, we found the area, and here's where we found the area. We found the area in the middle of the calf on the same side, the involved side, which was the left side. So the left foot had the problem. The diagnosis was left navicular fracture, and the origin of the signal was coming from the left hamstring and the left calf. Now, stop and think about that a second. What is the function of the left hamstring and the left calf? To absorb force and keeping it out of the foot. What wasn't happening? It wasn't absorbing force, so where do you suspect all the force was going? Directly into the foot. So now what we've done in step 2 is we've successfully found where the origin of the signal is causing the problem, causing the muscles not to do what they're supposed to do. And now we start treatment in step 2. And treatment in step 2 is mimic a motion that bothers them the most while being actively stimulated, while neurologically retraining the individual on how to move efficiently. Because in this case, problems on the left side, everything was shifted over to the right side. So every time he would take a step, he would be 70 to 80% of the forces on the right side, keeping it off the left side. Every single one of you listening to this today do exactly the same thing because you're hardwired to do it. If it hurts on the left, you're going to move everything to the right. If it hurts on the right, you're going to move everything to the left. So now we've identified where the origin is. We begin to retrain the individual and the muscles of the individual to transfer the force out of the damaged tissue into healthy tissue. And then we have to change the neurological pattern of movement, because if we do not, and we allow this individual to shift everything to the right, we've done absolutely nothing for that little loop that we're caught in, which says, I have a problem on the left, so I need to shift everything to the right. Until you break that neurological pattern, and trust me, it is a neurological pattern. It has nothing to do with physiology. Therefore, you're not going to break it with occupational therapy and physical therapy. Why? Because it is a neuro pattern, not a physical pattern. It exhibits itself as a physical pattern, but it's coming from a neurological origin. So simultaneously to developing and transferring the force out of the damaged tissue into healthy tissue, we're now breaking the neurological pattern of movement to where now we have 50-50 weight distribution between left and right. We have efficient movement pattern where the muscles are doing what they're supposed to do. Once we have accomplished that, we do that for 4 consecutive sessions. The patient came in at a pain level of 8 or 9 walking up and down the stairs. After session 1, they were down to a pain level of 1 or 2. We told them that that pain would come back because all we did is took the muscle from concentric contraction, protecting, to eccentric contraction, stabilizing. If you'd like to know what that feels like, flex your bicep as tight as you can and then straighten out your arm. When your bicep is flexed very tightly, there's tension and there's discomfort. When you extend the arm out, that tension goes away immediately. The problem with injury is, neurologically, it is getting a signal to protect, so it's going to continue to get that signal until we neurologically retrain and break that signal and change that signal to another signal of stabilization. So the athlete, after session number 1, pain level of 1 or 2, we told him by probably 2 or 3 hours later, pain level would go up to around a 6 or a 7. But it would come back. And then the next day, the reason he had to go through therapy is every single day we would take that level of pain, drop it by 25%, and extend the period of time without pain. So the first day, say an hour and a half, 2 hours, pain came back. Second day, 3 to 4 hours, pain came back. Third day, 5 to 6 hours, pain came back. Fourth day, 7 to 9 hours, pain came back. But the pain will always come back until you complete the therapeutic process of neurologically re-educating those muscles to stay in a position where it does not hurt you. By level number 5, by treatment number 5, we gave this patient a test. That test is designed to determine, can they absorb force or not? When we come back, we'll follow up with the rest of the treatment. Listen carefully to how you can experience neurotherapy for yourself.
Individuals who have been unsuccessful in eliminating their pain are invited to obtain a free ARP Wave System treatment. Register now on our website at painmanagementnetwork.com to arrange a free ARP Wave System treatment from one of the doctors in our ARP Wave South Florida provider network. You can also call 954-256-0045 in order to schedule your free evaluation and first treatment. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 or visit our website www.painmanagementnetwork.com and register to begin a new life pain-free. The ARP Wave Provider Network is also currently looking for doctors to join our network. We have an increasing number of patients who are looking for doctors to perform treatments using the ARP Wave System to help them eliminate pain they are experiencing. Contact us now at 954-256-0045 to have a representative come out and see you, or visit our website, www.painmanagementnetwork.com, and register for an appointment with one of our representatives. Once you are in our network, we can start referring you patients located in your area looking for doctors performing ARP Wave System treatments.
Welcome back to Pain Free Today. I'm your host, Denis Thompson, and we were discussing the ARP Wave System neurotherapy treatment of an athlete who came in last week with a diagnosis of a left navicular fracture and has been unable to compete in athletics for over a year and has been going through therapy for over a year. And now, as I said, we're up to treatment number 4, and at this point in time, the athlete is now pain-free for approximately 8 to 9 hours. Now we have to shift our focus from getting rid of the symptom of pain to seeing, can this athlete absorb force? And this isn't just for athletes. If you've had a joint replacement, if you had a knee replaced, a hip replaced, you're going to go through exactly the same process. We have to identify, can you absorb force or not? Because if you can't absorb force, the force is going to go someplace it's not supposed to go. So now we're at treatment number 5. And treatment number 5 is having the athlete go out and run 10 yards at half speed, with the caveat that if there's any pain whatsoever above a 1 or a 2, they must shut it down. They have to stop running. So we're going to go and we're going to do a force absorption test. We're going to run 10 times at half speed, with the understanding is we must stop if there is pain above a 1 or a 2. In this case, the athlete went out, ran 10 at half speed, and it was the first time that he ran in over a year without pain of any kind. He was completely blown away, in his words. We then had him run a 10-yard sprint at full speed to determine if he could absorb that amount of force as opposed to half speed, that amount of force. He was able to run 10 at half speed with no pain, 10 at full speed with no pain. We then do another treatment. That treatment now is based on a simple fact, and that is we need to build up the muscles above the area and below the area that are needed to transfer the force out of the affected area, the left ankle in this case, and put that force back in the quad, the hamstring, the calf, etc. So we have a specific exercise technique that we use, and we use our proprietary technology, and we use our proprietary techniques, and the session lasts about 13 to 15 minutes. During this session, we're focusing exclusively on the ability of the muscle to absorb force. Once we are complete with that 15-minute session, 13 to 15-minute session, we now do another force absorption test. That force absorption test now is different. And that, in this athlete's case, is moving side to side, cutting side to side. Could never cut side to side, could never load up that joint side to side. And as we explained to him, you're not going to be loading up the joint. What you're going to be loading up is the muscles that are supposed to be supporting that joint. And if the muscle that is supposed to be supporting that joint is doing that, you're going to have no force, therefore no pain in that ankle. Now, he understood that. And so we went out and we did our force absorption test. At the end of that test, he did 10, what we call karaokes, half speed, and 10 at full speed with zero pain. So what do you think is going through this athlete's mind at this point in time? A, we're not working on his ankle. B, he's never felt better in his life. C, he's getting stronger, and he feels he's getting stronger, and we're nowhere near his ankle. What do you think is going through this athlete's mind? I can tell you what's going through his mind because he told me. He said, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. He said, I've talked to many players in the league, and they've told me how you do what you do, and nobody understands it. But the one thing they all said in unison was, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how the system did it, but I can tell you this, it works. And I play without pain, and I play without taking medication for pain. Now, if you're listening to this right now, and you're not an athlete, and you've just had surgery, have been told you need surgery, have had an automobile injury, have chronic pain, do you think if we can work with 1,000 of the most elite athletes in the world with staggeringly successful results, that we might be able to help you? Do you honestly believe your life and your quality of life needs to be where it is right now? If we can get a professional football player, someone who's in a car wreck every single day of the week, to be able to perform at high level without pain, do you think we might be able to do the same thing for you? Do you think you absorb the same amount of force as a professional football player? The answer unequivocally is no. Unequivocally is no. So if we can do that for an elite athlete, imagine what this therapy could do for you. So the question then comes up, well, I'm not an athlete, and, that's all well and good for athletes, but I've got chronic pain. I've got MS. I've got this. I've got that. It can't work for me. You're absolutely right. It can't work for you if you think it can't work. What do you got to lose? What if it could? It's not going to cure your MS. It's not going to cure your fibromyalgia. It's not going to cure anything. Absolutely not going to cure anything. But what I can guarantee you, in 95% of the time, it's going to dramatically change your quality of life. And there's only one way you're ever going to know if this truly can help you. and that's for you to try it. And we said that over and over and over again on today's show. If you're a doctor, there's only one way you're going to know if what I'm saying is true, if what all these case studies have proven, anecdotal as they are, there's 75,000 of them, there's only one way you're going to ever know if this therapy can help you and help your patients. That's to try it. And if there's no cost, there's no obligation, requires none of your time, and we manage the input and the output for you. We train a staff member. What do you have to lose? If you're a patient and you're in pain, contact your doctor the minute this show is over, which is going to be in about a minute and a half. Contact your doctor. Tell them you heard about the ARP Wave System neurotherapy. You want to be treated by it. The company will set it up if the doctor agrees. If you're local, we'll come out. If not, we'll send everything directly to the doctor. So there's no reason not to try it. No reason at all. The only way you are ever going to know if this therapy can do what I say it does is to try it. You know that's true, and I know that's true. To find out for yourself, simply call 954-256-0045, or if you'd like to, contact us via the web at painmanagementnetwork.com. Doctors, we're setting up the largest network of medical professionals in the world utilizing and treating their patients with the ARP Wave System neurotherapy. We'd like you to be in our network. It has tremendous advantages to you and your patients. Give us that opportunity. Listen carefully now, and I will see you next week on Pain Free Today.
You've been listening to Pain Free Today with your host, Denis Thompson. Denis is the creator of the ARP Wave System. Send in your questions for next week's show to questions@painmanagementnetwork.com. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.